Let me tell you what Disney meant to me as a child. If you're like me, born in the early 2000s, Disney was the gold standard of childhood entertainment. Growing up in Nigeria, thousands of miles away from the Magic Kingdom, I was still captivated by Disney originals. That's how far their reach went. And I wasn't alone. Millions of kids from every corner of the world grew up under the warm glow of stories like Snow White, Cinderella, Mulan, Beauty and the Beast, and The Little Mermaid. We laughed along with Wizards of Waverly Place, sang our hearts out to High School Musical, and lived for the moment when Disney magic felt real. Our childhood nostalgia is being trampled, tarnished, repackaged, and corrupted by executives who treat legacy as a product to exploit rather than a culture to protect. Disney today is barely recognizable. Under its current leadership, the company has alienated the very audience that made it a global empire, millennials like us, while stripping newer generations of the wonder we once had, all in the name of modernizing classics through remakes that nobody asked for, and the cost, hundreds of millions in box office losses, serious backlash from fans, cultural disillusionment. What once felt sacred now feels like a cash grab dressed in a hollow moral costume. And Disney, they are paying a heavy price for that betrayal. Starting with Snow White, the film that started it all, the movie that built the Disney empire brick by brick in 1937, a hand-drawn animation, a simple fairy tale about kindness, jealousy, and magic. It was timeless, delicate, and innocent. Now fast forward to Disney's latest live-action remake, and what do we get? A story gutted, repackaged, and rewritten without care for the original. The seven dwarfs replaced with CGI magical creatures. Snow White rebranded as a strong leader who doesn't need a prince. The lead actress publicly mocked the original story.
What did you mean by that?
I mean, the original cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so. There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her.
Yeah.
Weird.
Let that sink in. Disney cast someone who doesn't even respect the source material to represent its legacy. And the worst part is not even landing. The early reception was brutal. Critics called it toe-curling terrible. The visuals looked artificial and its soul missing. All because Disney refuses to leave classic stories untouched, forcing a modern agenda into narratives that never needed fixing. And here's the ironic part. Disney isn't the first and only studio to reimagine Snow White.
Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is fairest of them all?
You are the fairest, but there is another destined to surpass you.
Back in 2012, Universal gave us Snow White and the Huntsman, a darker, more mature spin on the fairy tale. Snow White became a warrior. The Huntsman wasn't a punchline, he was a morally complex protector. The evil queen was terrifying and tragic. It wasn't perfect, but it dared to honor the story while adding something fresh. And how did the audience respond? It made around $400 million worldwide, and I personally enjoyed it. Now compare that to Disney's remake, a film with all the budget in the world, yet still flopping. Why? Because instead of a creative vision, it feels like propaganda. Instead of enhancing the story, they've erased it. No romance, no dwarfs, no innocence, no magic, just buzzwords and backlash. Disney's remake isn't reinvention, it is corporate rebranding, and a lazy one at that. Now let's talk about Mulan, because this one hurts. If Snow White was about innocence, Mulan was about honor, sacrifice, identity, and family. The 1998 animated classic was breathtaking, a mix of Disney magic and cultural depth. Then came the 2020 live action remake, and Disney dropped the ball hard. The humor gone, the music gone, the iconic Mushu gone, all under the excuse of respecting Chinese culture. But here's the irony. China didn't even like the movie. It bombed there too, and it bombed everywhere else. As audience watched all the emotional heart get surgically removed. Instead of a determined girl fighting for honor, we got Mulan with superpowers, defeating the whole point of the story. Mulan was already empowering. We didn't need a rewrite. We needed the soul that made the original unforgettable. So, where do we go from here? Now, I want to speak directly to Disney, the executives, the creatives, the people who shape your stories and your brand. I'm not American. I'm not inside Hollywood. I'm speaking from Nigeria, from the continent of Africa, as part of your global audience. And I represent millions like me, millions who grew up loving Disney, who saw the magic, the innocence, the dreams you gave us, even from thousands of miles away. But what you're doing now, it isn't working. If you want to tell modern stories, do it. If you want to promote diversity, do it. If you want to reflect today's world, do it. But do it through originals. Create new heroes, build new worlds, give people something fresh. But don't rewrite the stories we already loved. Don't repaint our memories with politics and call it progress. Because what you're doing now isn't storytelling, it is corporate vandalism. Representation should honor the audience, not insult them. And let me be honest with you, if you keep doing this, if you keep erasing legacy, ignoring the people who built your empire, you are going to fall hard. Disney, you're not too big to fall, but you are still big enough to change. So please, create something new. Leave the classics alone. Now guys, if you enjoyed this video and you really loved my take on it, please leave a comment, like and subscribe, and turn on your notification bell so you always stay updated when a new video drops on the channel.